Hello and welcome to 11 on 11. I'm Tamer Knight. Here are our top stories we covered this week. The state is already feeling some of the consequences of the federal government shutdown. TSA agents at both Clinton's National and Northwest Arkansas National Airports are some of the federal workers who are required to stay on the job. They're currently working without pay. Veteran Affairs says it will not provide career counseling, and the regional benefits offices will be closed for the time being. Arkansas Congressman Steve Womack, who represents Northwest Arkansas, predicted last week shutdown is a bad news for the country.
I'm not a fan of shutdowns. Shutdowns are problematic because they're expensive. Federal agencies have to go through a lot of gymnastics trying to plan for it. And then the added challenge is one day you got to open it back up. And under what conditions do you open it?
Governor Sanders says she's working with the State Department of Finance to determine which federally funded programs will be suspended. And the head of the tourism agency in Hot Springs is trying to let everyone know the spa city is open for business, and only that, a couple places in the national park are closed. Most of Bathhouse Row is open since they're private businesses. Notably, the Fordyce Bathhouse Visitor Center is closed, but trails and campsites are still accessible for the most part. And Steve Arison from Visit Hot Springs says federal workers are basically volunteering at this busy time of the year in the park.
Thank goodness for the national park employees that said they'll come in and work without a paycheck to let all this happen for us, because, you know, big time of the year for us, the fall in Hot Springs.
Beyond the national park, Thursday night marked the beginning of the free concert series on Bush Street, and there's a unique golf tournament that is set to take place this weekend. And shutdown reveals unexpected ways we interact with the federal government. We found another one this week, and that's school lunch programs. Keeping kids fed is always a challenge, and the Little Rock School District is keeping a close eye on families who count on them. THV 11's Maya Ellison found out how the shutdown adds to their concern.
Here at the Little Rock School District, officials aim to ensure every child has access to healthy, clean meals, no matter the circumstance, and even through a government shutdown. The message is still the same.
We want to be able to feed every student in our district. Every school in Arkansas wants to be able to do that.
At Little Rock School District, catering to 20,000 students puts a lot on their plate, like making sure no child goes hungry and even introducing ways for students to eat free.
We are actually feeding all students in Arkansas at every school district, charter school, universal free breakfast.
That's thanks to SB 59. According to Governor Sanders' office, the bill repurposes medical marijuana tax revenue to fully fund the program.
And so we are a USDA program. We are entitled to state and federal funds. Our funding comes from the taxpayers. The National School Breakfast and Lunch programs are entitlement programs, and so our funds are pretty much guaranteed.
And that guarantee even puts them in a decent spot during the government shutdown, leaving them less worried.
There is this thing called carryover funds that are guaranteed to school districts and to our meal program particularly. And so we're not really worried about how it could affect us. We have food, of course, for October. We are now doing our menus for November.
The district is also thinking ahead. Inside this warehouse, no shelf is empty.
We have started contacting our vendors, and as long as we have our space, we will bring in what we can.
But through their work to keep students fed, there are questions that leave district officials concerned.
The only thing that I've been concerned about is what we're going to do for those families who are going to be affected by this.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
District officials tells us meal resources are available for parents who are impacted by the government shutdown. You can find the link to sign up now on our website, thv11.com. And the push for election integrity continues here in Arkansas as Attorney General Tim Griffin announced the arrest of 3 non-citizens for illegally voting in Arkansas election. The arrest follows an investigation by the AG's office and federal officials who flagged voters' records that did not match citizenship status. The first case involves a Cuban woman with a removal order dating back to 1999. Investigators say she registered as a citizen and voted in a general election. A second case case involves a Nigerian woman with conditional permanent residency who voted in the 2024 general election after saying she was also a U.S. citizen. The third is a Kazakhstan woman accused of voting in the 2024 Republican primary. Griffin says the arrest sends a clear message to all Arkansans.
FTL, follow the law. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what your political views are. If you follow the law, you're good. If you break the law, we're going to do what our duty requires.
Secretary of State Cole Jester also spoke on the arrest, saying, quote, "American elections are for American citizens. Anything less is totally unacceptable," end quote. Meanwhile, the Attorney General also announced the arrest of 4 women charged with brazen retail theft across central Arkansas. The arrests are part of a crackdown on an organized retail crime, the kind seen in viral videos with alleged thieves making off with their arms full of merchandise. Griffin said it's costing retailers about $70 billion a year, and it eventually turns into a tax on consumers. The group arrested recently allegedly stole nearly $7,000 in merchandise from TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and home goods stores in Cabot, Conway, and Little Rock. Authorities issued 23 felony warrants.
They were getting luggage and filling it with stuff and closing up the luggage and rolling it out like they were in an airport, like they had some place to go in an airport. Just walk right out the door with everybody looking. If they think that may fly in some jurisdictions, not in Arkansas.
Over the past year, 50 people have been arrested in the retail theft crackdown, with 91 facing felony charges. And a week-long multi-state drug trafficking operation aimed at bringing down a cartel leads to dozens of arrests here in Arkansas. Of the 47 arrests made this week by the New Orleans division of the DEA, Arkansas accounts for 27 of them. Breaking down that number a little bit, 16 happened here in Little Rock, 7 of them were in Fort Smith, and 2 were made in Fayetteville. The DEA said the operation aimed to, quote, dismantle the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, a group designated as a foreign terrorist organization by the Trump administration in February. This week marks 5 months since Benton police arrested a man as he delivered a pizza. It's an arrest the department admits they shouldn't have made. All the charges were dropped, but it kicked off a chain of events the man says has been devastating. THV 11's Carter Threed explains.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
I'm confused on why he's going to jail. I want to say this, please.
That video shows officers taking Kapil Raghu into custody in the parking lot of a Benton gas station.
You got a vial of opium that was in your center console. Go and take a seat.
But that bottle of opium wasn't filled with the illegal substance, but instead a perfume with the same name. By the time the Arkansas State Crime Lab figured that out, Raghu was already in the Saline County Jail, where it was discovered that he was on a temporary visa that had expired. He had been trying to become a permanent citizen, but this put a stop to that and sent him to an ICE facility in Louisiana.
She used to call me every night crying, and my stepdaughter putting a Bible on her chest crying. Even at that spot, my stepdaughter was crying a lot. And she was planning to sell her cars and move to some other country where we can live happily.
Raghu was released after 30 days, but now he's in limbo. All his previous work towards becoming a citizen has been wiped out. He's not allowed to hold a job.
I had to take out a loan to pay for our bills and to put money on his books and just hire additional attorneys and things along that lines. So financially, it's been extremely rough.
That led Raghu to take the step of writing a letter to ICE's legal office, asking that he be allowed to resolve his immigration status through the proper legal channels, as he was doing before his arrest. That letter delivered this week.
It was very intimidating and very like, we're not bad people. We didn't do anything wrong. We're just a normal family.
Now, we've reached out to the Public Affairs Office for ICE asking about Raghu's situation and not have heard back. Emmett Till was just 14 when his tragic death sparked a national movement for change. Now, a new interactive exhibit in Little Rock lets visitors explore his life and his mother's courageous fight for justice. We've got an inside look coming up. You're watching the 11 on 11. The head of state has announced the race to fill a vacant seat in the Arkansas House of Representatives. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders notified both political parties of the vacancy District 70 covering parts of North Little Rock and Sherwood yesterday. The seat opened after Representative Carlton Wing submitted his resignation to lead Arkansas PBS. So far, at least 3 people have shown early interest in the spot. 2 Democrats are interested in the position with an eye towards flipping it, one being Cordella Smith Johnson of Sherwood. The other is Alex Holliday from North Little Rock, who lost to Wing last November by just a couple hundred votes. One Republican plans to run, and that's Bo Renshaw, who also from North Little Rock. We turn now to an early look at the brewing mayoral race in Little Rock. THV 11's city vice mayor is looking to take the role of her current superior. Vice Mayor Brenda Warwick is basing her campaign on changing what she calls years of disorder, decline, distrust, and a failed vision. In her campaign video, Warwick pointed toward her key points of interest being public safety, potholes, parks, and trash. She was recently appointed to vice mayor this year, but held the position before in 2000. Challenged the Honorable Mayor Frank Scott Jr. if he chooses to run for re-election. Midterms are right around the corner, and the deadline for voter registration is February 2nd. The general election gets started November 3rd. Meanwhile, Arkansas State Senator Brian King was back at the state capitol this week, joined by the family of Gary Stubblefield. Together, they objected to the special election set for next June that will fill the late senator's seat. The governor picked that date after receiving pushback on her original plan to wait until next November. Claire Everbaugh explains why King and the Stubblefield family are now calling on her to make another change for the people of District 26.
Senator Brian King says the decision to move the general election to June means District 26 won't have a voice during one of the most crucial times of government, the fiscal session.
This attempt to have the special election after the budget session will impact not just the prison issue, but it will also impact the budget session. They will have no representation during the budget session.
King says this isn't just a matter of timing, but a matter of right and wrong.
While we're here today, if you look at this situation of even moving back this special election to June, you're basically allowing stolen representation. You're trying to steal representation from the people in that Senate district at one of the most crucial times of our state government.
He says the proposed prison in Franklin County is an example of why this matter is urgent.
His district and mine, being close enough, could be the most impacted from the mega prison and impact them for decades. And all of a sudden, this governor believes that they should not have representation during this crucial time.
And emphasized this change is a form of stealing representation.
Voter fraud, it really is about stealing representation, and this putting off the special election for his seat is about just stealing representation.
Amber Sullivan, the daughter of Senator Stubblefield, stood alongside King and spoke at the press conference. She says her father's seat should not go unfilled for so long.
We're not asking anybody to break the law, but his seat should not go unrepresented for 8 months, 9 months. It shouldn't go 5 months.
Sullivan echoed King's call for a timely election, so District 26 has representation before the budget session.
This election should be taking place in January. It could have taken place in November, but for some reason, they continue to put it off. And all we are asking is for accountability for those people that he was passionate about. And that's all that we ask, as for this election not to be continued to be pushed back.
That was Claire Everbaugh reporting for us. She reached out to the governor's office, who released a statement saying, quote, holding the primary for District 26 on the statewide primary date and holding the special election on the soonest possible date afterward saves taxpayers dollars and ensures the election is free, fair, and secure. And nearly 70 years later, and the life and legacy of Emmett Till is still being put on full display across the country. A 14-year-old boy whose life was stripped away in an era of deep racial injustice. I got a look at the new exhibit at the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center that honors his life.
His story is what many historians and people believe was the spark of the civil rights movement.
Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was brutally murdered for whistling at a white woman.
When we think about Emmett Till, this young 14-year-old boy from Chicago who was going to visit his family in Mississippi in 1955, and the events that surrounded what happened to him was heartbreaking.
His death sparking outrage and cries for change across the country. But it was Till's mother, Mammy Till Mobley's, courage to broadcast images of her son to the world with his open casket funeral that ignited a push for civil rights change.
What was powerful is that his mom, Emmett Till Mobley, said, "My son's life, it means something, and I refuse to allow anything to silence me." She wanted her voice to be heard, and she wanted her son's story to be told.
And nearly 7 decades later, her mission is complete, and Emmett's story is forever etched in history. The Mosaic Templars Cultural Center is hosting a new exhibit that highlights Emmett's life as a boy. The story begins on August 28, 1955, when Emmett was kidnapped from his uncle's home. 3 days later, his body was found in the Tallahatchie River.
As a historian and as a museum, we understand the importance of history, and we understand that history doesn't necessarily have a timestamp. We understand that history continues, and it was amazing that his mom knew in 1955 that his story was important, and that years later we're still able to see, understand, document his story. And
the exhibit is family and kid friendly with interactive learning opportunities.
If you can pick up the phone and hear stories, we have kiosks where people can there's different touch points for people to learn about the life and story of Emmett Till, the strength and courage of his mom.
The MTCC says the death of Emmett Till is pivotal to history and connects with Arkansas civil rights stories.
Emmett Till's tragic life ended in 1955. After that, we began to see movement with the Montgomery bus boycott later in 1955, and then we see the onward march to the desegregation of Central High in 1957. Of course, we honor the legacy of the Little Rock Nine and the story of Central High here. So all these parts and pieces are key and pivotal to the stories that we share here in Arkansas.
Now the exhibit is on display now through early January 2026. The Mosaic Templars Cultural Center on historic 9th Street is open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with extended hours on select Sundays to ensure everyone has a chance to visit. And the singing might be a bit off-key, but the message is always on point. How this choir uses music to rekindle memories next.
They leave Louisiana, they didn't know.
Yeah.
It's like being at home.
It is. I hope so.
Sometimes I go back home and think, man, I gotta leave Arkansas.
Yes.
I gotta go to Louisiana.
I hope so.
This week on Eat It Up, we are right near the Gray Lake in Caddo Valley at O'Keefe's Fishnet Family Restaurant. They're about to celebrate 40 years, and boy, are we in for a treat. We got catfish, we got shrimp, delicious desserts, and hush puppies galore. I'm ready. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
This is my father's restaurant for 40 years next month. He passed away in 2021, and he has given me this legacy, and I either chose to keep it going or lock the doors, and the community reached out to me and was like, you can't lock the doors. It's such a legacy. So it needed, obviously, an update when I came in. A new fresh of eyes, make it more my personality, make it more lake themed, make it more Arkansas themed. I want to give back to the community, and I want to support local, always support local. We've got Henderson, we've got OBU here in town. We are U.S. pond-raised catfish. We get it over in Mississippi, and I'm so excited I get to actually visit the plant. We sell a lot of grilled items. We're not just known for fried food, fried seafood. Our steaks are all hand cut. All of our setups come with hush puppies, beans, coleslaw, and pickled relish. We've got a catfish Louisiane that I love. It is straight out of New Orleans. It's so good. That's a hometown favorite.
All right, Jennifer, I'm ready to dive into this catfish.
Try
It looks
our
amazing.
catfish.
I've heard a lot of good things,
Yes.
amazing things. Now this sauce here too looks absolutely incredible.
Thank you. That's our Creole sauce.
Gosh, this Creole sauce.
Do you like it?
Oh my goodness.
Good.
And that's made here, yeah?
It's a homemade sauce.
Literally last week, gator season in Arkansas. Couldn't be better timing. Now, y'all,
Yes.
I love gator personally, and if you do gator bites right, they are good.
They are good, yes.
Gator bite fan?
Yes. But the hush puppies, they say, are some of the best in Arkansas. I like to say that they're the best in Arkansas.
It's hard to argue.
I know.
I haven't talked since I started eating one. I'm a hush puppy. I haven't been talking since I had one.
You had me at hush puppies.
Oh my gosh.
Catfish Louisiane.
Oh my gosh.
Do you like it as well? Yay.
Jennifer, I don't like it.
You
I
don't?
love it. I
Thank you.
love it.
The Forgetful Friends chorus brings together people living with Alzheimer's, dementia, their caregivers, and volunteers. And when the music starts, something extraordinary happens. Sean Martelli shows us how songs are striking a chord that a memory alone cannot.
Most choirs aim for perfect pitch.
3 more, you got it.
But in this group, it's okay if you can't carry a tune.
Army.
Director Susan Domer says those here already carry enough.
It's a chorus for people with memory issues and brain related, and their caregivers and volunteers.
We're nothing up to you as Air Force.
People like Michael Yates, who cares for his wife Dreama.
We have good days and we have bad days, and
very few bad days.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Or Jean Fratsky and her grandson Albert.
Music is music, and it can bring anybody together, and that is a blessing.
Marines.
As for what the choir's called,
Forgetful Seniors. I think that's the name. Sometimes I forget.
It's actually Forgetful Friends. Those with Alzheimer's and dementia may not always remember why they're here.
But you give them a song that they sang when they were a kid or as a young adult or a teenager, and suddenly they've activated a new part of the brain.
A part of the brain where music memory is often spared.
It's a gift.
Just ask David Bosley.
Yeah.
That seat next to him wasn't always empty.
It's hardly been 4 months, and we were married almost 57 years.
David's wife Lisa battled dementia. A native of West Virginia, she never failed to light up at the sound of country roads. The choir visited Lisa and performed prior to her passing.
And she was not happy to be there when we started. But with the first few seconds, she just started singing, and her whole demeanor changed. And she thoroughly enjoyed the performance. That was the last time she really got to sing.
Now that's it for the weekend wrap up. Thanks for watching THV 11 Plus. We'll see you here again next week.